All right, folks. I've been excited, pretty much waiting all day for it. We are back here. We went live twice already, really quickly just to get the videos out, but we're back for a JE Live, a full-fledged JE Live on the day of cut day. Actually, it is now 4 o'clock, and all of these moves should be made, and we'll be seeing them shortly come up, but we're going to be breaking down both rosters. I'll be answering your questions as well. So excited to have you guys in here. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I am as well, Ernesto. Welcome, welcome. The new ball looks awful. Yeah, I'm hoping that's not actually the new ball. I'm holding out hope. I don't know what to really think of it, but really bizarre. What's up, Ricky? How's it going, Joakim? Very interesting day. I don't think they cut Bryce Perkins. Jordan Rodriguez kind of alluded to the fact they're going to keep 3. Excuse me. Yeah. What's up, Jake? Keep up the great content. Thank you, random guy. Appreciate you. Yeah, we are waiting at this point. It's going to come in, I'd imagine, fast and furious. Waiting on it. Man, I get on live and now all of a sudden I got the hiccups. It's amazing. All right. So before we find out the actual 53 for the Rams, I figure while we're waiting, we could talk a little bit about Alex Leatherwood, because the former first-round pick from 2021 was just cut today, folks. First-round offensive lineman, don't see that very often. So I'm curious, would like to see you drop in the comments section. Should the Rams consider bringing him in? Because I kind of feel like they should. But I'm curious what your thoughts are on that. They could claim him. It'd be like $3 million against the cap. You develop him long term. Maybe you get a starting right tackle out of him after Havenstein leaves. Who knows, right? I mean, I don't know. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But I think he's too talented not to at least go after him. Still waiting. Don't worry, I got it all here. Actually, let me go on the Rams. Yeah, they're quiet over there on the Rams.com. Doesn't look like they updated it either. Yeah, right. Yes, I am as well. I'm glad to hear that you're good. I mean, the two surprise cuts have to be Jacob Harris and Chris Garrett. Yeah. Jacob Harris, Chris Garrett, Benton Whitley, Roger Carter. Still waiting to hear. Yeah, those guys were all cut, and then Landon Akers was cut. I'm still waiting to hear on the other guys, but those are the guys that have been cut so far for the Rams. They're really dragging this thing out, aren't they? Yeah, it's not updated on the website, so. Yeah, at this point we're just waiting, right? They are pretty bad drafting. Yeah, I just don't think he's a guard. I think he's a tackle, and I think he needs some help, with development, and that's totally fine. I think I would trust Kevin Carberry to develop him, and I'd be all for grabbing him. Exactly. Either that or maybe the organization is the one that has red flags. Still waiting on the final 53. They have not announced it yet. Keir Thomas is on the roster. I can confirm Keir Thomas made the 53. I hate the new ball. I hope it's not real. I don't know if it's real or not. But I hate it. It's stupid. And we wait. I just don't know why you would even announce anything like that. It's just a really dumb... Like, people were like, oh, it's this marketing ploy. You all fell for it. I'm like, it was stupid. Like, it's dumb. That does... That thought did creep in my mind. I think he could be had on the practice squad, but... Yeah, Aaron Donald made the team. What's up, Chantry? I'm doing well. How are you doing? Yeah, right? My God. Oh, my God, man. Still waiting. Kendall Blanton was cut today by the Commanders. While we're waiting, I guess I could also throw this thing together. So, in case you guys didn't know, you don't follow me on Twitter. It's understandable. I forgive you. Just kidding, of course. But I don't forgive you. No. I'm kidding. I made a 53-man roster with all the guys that were cut, like, before the cuts were announced. Like, just, like, the guys that were already cut. And I had Kellen Mond, Chris Strevler at quarterback, Tevin Coleman, Philip Lindsay, Devontae Price, and Jason Huntley at running back, Preston Williams, Tyler Johnson, Laquan Treadwell, Daz Newsome, Albert Wilson, Lynn Bowden Jr. at wide receiver, O.J. Howard, Chris Herndon, Dalton Keene at tight end, Kellen Deesh, Caleb Beninock, Alex Molle, Bo Benschwal, Rick Leonard, Roderick Johnson, Myron Cunningham, John Leglu, and Wyatt Davis as offensive line. My defensive line is Christian Covington, Mario Edwards, Sheldon Day, Kingsley Kiki, Malcolm Brown, McTelvin Ajim. Edge is Quincy Roche, Curtis Weaver, Janarius Robinson, Ali Fayyad, and Wyatt Ray. Linebackers, Joe Schobert, Kenny Young, Sean Dion Hamilton, Chaz Surratt, and Joel Aigunibui. I don't know how to say his name, but the long name. Oh, there we go. 53 just dropped. Okay, finally. So the Rams are keeping 3 quarterbacks, Matthew Stafford, John Wolford, and Bryce Perkins. They're keeping 4 running backs, Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, and Jake Funk. And, of course, Kyron Williams and Jake Funk. Wide receivers, they're keeping Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell, Ben Skoranek, Brandon Powell, and Lance McCutcheon. Tight ends, they're keeping Tyler Higbee, Bryson Hopkins. Offensive line, they're keeping Joe Noteboom, David Edwards, Brian Allen, Coleman Shelton, Rob Havenstein, Alaric Jackson, Bobby Evans made it again, and Tremaine Ankrum Jr. Defensive line, they're keeping Ashawn Robinson, Aaron Donald, Greg Gaines, Marquise Copeland, Michael Hoyt, and Jonah Williams. Outside linebackers, they're keeping Leonard Floyd, Justin Hollins, Terrell Lewis, Daniel Hardy, who will be reverted to IR. That might be a move that they might have to make. And Keir Thomas. Inside linebackers, they're keeping Bobby Wagner, Ernest Jones, Christian Roseboom, and Jake Hummel. Corners, they're keeping Jalen Ramsey, David Long Jr., Troy Hill, Robert Rochelle, Jacoby Durant, and Darion Kendrick. Safeties, they decided to keep 5 here. Taylor Rapp, Nick Scott, Jordan Fuller, Terrell Burgess, and Russ Yeast. And specialists, they kept Matt Gay, Riley Dixon, and Matt Orzek, obviously. waived no recall. The Rams placed Trayvon Howard, reserve non-football injury list, reserve physically unable to perform list, Quentin Lake, reserve suspended by commissioner list, Bobby Brown III, reserve injured list, Logan Bruss, and their waive no recall, Landon Akers, AJ Arcuri, Chandler Brewer, Ernest Brown IV, Roger Carter, TJ Carter, yes, there was 2 TJ Carters, Elijah Garcia, Chris Garrett, Jake Gervais, Grant Haley, Jacob Harris, Anthony Hines, Daniel Isom, Jeremiah Colon, who they listed as a guard, by the way, kind of weird, Duron Lowe, Jared Pinkney, Maximilian Percher, running back Trey Regis, guard Jack Snyder, Braden Thomas, Austin Trammell, and Benton Whitley. That is your 53. So my initial thoughts, I mean, obviously you had to keep the 3 quarterbacks, right? You know, I think that was the smart move, personally. So I like that move. Running backs, I told you they're going to keep Jake Funk. I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest with you, but whatever. I think Kyron Williams being already listed ahead of him on the depth chart speaks volumes to the type of player he is. Wide receiver, they didn't even keep 8. They kept 7. And, of course, Lance McCutcheon is seen there. Brandon Powell, Ben Skoranek, Tutu Atwell. So that's, that's the wide receivers. Tyler Higbee, Bryson Hopkins, they're only keeping 2 tight ends. They're keeping 8 offensive linemen. So my first thought, Bobby Evans, I don't know how he made the roster. I don't get it. I mean, the guy just isn't, he's not it, but whatever. Outside linebackers, I like the outside linebackers there. Now, real quick, Daniel Hardy, okay? Daniel Hardy is on the 53 because they have to wait to put him on an injured list. I'd imagine he's going to go to the injured list, and then what they're going to do is when they put him there, they're going to put Chris Garrett. If he clears waivers, they'll bring him back in some capacity. So that will probably be a re-signing there. Inside linebackers, love keeping Jake Hummel. I think he's really good, very high floor. I mean, I think he could play right away if he needed to. Trayvon Howard isn't going to be ready, so I think it made a lot of sense to keep him. Corners, no surprise. Unfortunately, there's a lot of talent there. I really liked what Duron Lowe did. As you guys know, I've talked about him a lot. Really liked, what Grant Haley did, not only last year, but then this year. I think at the end of the day, corner was pretty simple. Quentin Lake being on the PUP list means that he has to miss the first 4 games of the season, which is okay. I think the Rams will deal with that. Taylor Rapp, Nick Scott, Jordan Fuller, Terrell Burgess, and Russ East. I was a little surprised to see Russ East make it initially. It makes sense because Jordan Rodriguez was saying, it sounds like he's really going to make the team. So, that's your 53. Surprise cut, maybe Arcuri. I thought they would have kept him, but, after they got rid of Jacob Harris, I mean, here's the thing, okay? I really like this roster. I really do. My only beef is really keeping, like I said, Jake Funk, I just don't think he offers anything as a running back. Really good special teamer, but so is, Jacob Harris. And then I think keeping Bobby Evans is just a waste of a roster spot. It's kind of hard to justify everything I was saying earlier and how they're win now all this, and they're keeping Bobby Evans. I mean, I don't know. Guys, be sure you hit the thumbs up. Are you kidding me? We only have 23 likes so far. Got 165 people in here. Let's get those up. Let's get those up. Come on now. This roster is not even close to done, though. Let's be real here. All right. This roster is not even close to done. They're going to have moments. And I think, I don't know. I don't really get the Bobby Evans thing at all. They didn't even make mention of it on the website. They didn't even mention it. So, I don't know. Like I said, like I stand by what I said. I do not... I don't know. I don't get why Bobby Evans would make the team. I just don't get it. I do not get it. Let's see here. Yeah, very surprising. Yes, please hit the like. Would really appreciate that. Appreciate everyone joining me. He's got dirt on someone. Yeah, they could still get Leatherwood. They just have to claim him. Yeah, it's weird. I don't remember a Rams team only having 2 tight ends. So they must have some plan. Skoranek might be utilized in that realm. He's listed at 224. So yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be against it. That's kind of my thought process as well. Well, luckily for them, and I mentioned it earlier, there's plenty of tight ends out there. O.J. Howard was cut today by the Buffalo Bills, and I think he could be utilized in some capacity. Chris Herndon, Dalton Keene, Ryan Izzo, Kendall Blanton was cut again. So, yeah, there's some guys out there, for sure. Big boy, yeah, Benny Sco. So, I don't love the way that this is listed. What is this, man? I don't know. I was looking at the Jets roster because I'm going to go over that as well as part of the title of the video. Maybe the depth chart's updated? Nope, it's not updated. Yeah, this is a mess. Man, the Rams did this so much better. I do not like the way the Jets the way the Jets have their roster set up is really odd on their website. I'm using the iPad right now. I'm like, well, what are we doing here? Just really weird. I've never seen it set up like that. So, 4 of the Rams rookie drafted DBs made the initial 53. Jacoby Durant, Darion Kendrick, Russ Yeast. 3 of the 4. Quentin Lake, as mentioned, goes on the PUP list. Let's see. LA Rams, appreciate you. That's awesome. Becoming a platinum member. Really appreciate you. Yeah, I'm trying to get the Jets roster. I don't like the way it's listed on their website. Yeah, I mean, Blanton could come back. He was cut and he is available. So, we'll see. That's not happening. The Ravens aren't getting rid of Lamar Jackson. No way. I don't know how he made it again. He's not going there. I don't know if you can hear that. There's like a thunderstorm out there, so if I end up losing it. Jake Hummel time, yes. Yes, sir. Yeah, the Commanders cut him. The Commanders cut him. I just love that I can't find the roster like for the Jets. I'm trying to I don't know. Our Curry got cut. I think, he'd be back if it's on the practice squad, I think Garrett will be back. I still cannot believe the way the Jets have this set up. Like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on, and it's just really not well organized. Yeah, they still have Chris Streveler on the roster. Like, what? How can I even? I don't know. Well, I also cover the Jets, as you can see with my helmet. Although I should probably move it over here so you can see it better. But yeah, probably also move this like here. There we go. What's up, Joseph? How's it going? I did. I did go through it. I can go through it again if you would like. See any players from other teams that I'm not sure what you mean by that, Marv, but I'm sure message retracted, so I'm sure you're probably gonna resend that. I don't see why not. I would not be against OJ Howard. He's a good player. At least he's talented. At the very least, he's talented. He's a talented player. Yeah. Yeah, it does. It has. You're funny. Jets moment. Oh, Lord. I'm getting so many texts from people. Oh, my God. Bobby Evans. Yeah, that's crazy. All I can say is there are some guys here that I would be definitely looking at. Kellen Deesh, Caleb Beninock, Bo Benchwall, Myron Cunningham, Wyatt Davis, John Leglu. I mean, there are some guys that were cut today that I'd definitely be looking at if I were the Rams. I'm still waiting on the Jets to figure out their situation on their site. I can't find the 53. It's not showing up for me. Aha. Here it is. Okay. So the Jets 53. Joe Flacco, your starting quarterback. Mike White, Zach Wilson. Obviously, he'll be the starter when he's healthy. Michael Carter, Breece Hall, Ty Johnson, Zonovan Knight. Love that they kept Bam. Corey Davis, they kept Denzel Mims. So both of the cover guys I predicted would make the team. Denzel Mims and Lance McCutcheon. I didn't have Denzel Mims on the team in my last, thing for the Jets, predicting the 53, but my point is that I predicted it by putting him on the cover of my thumbnail. Anyway, Corey Davis, Denzel Mims, Braxton Berrios, Jeff Smith, Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, tight end, CJ Uzama, Tyler Conklin. They keep Lawrence Cager, the former wide receiver turned tight end, and Jeremy Ruckert. The offensive line is Dwayne Brown, Laken Tomlinson, Connor McGovern, Elijah Vera-Tucker, George Fant, Nate Herbig is a depth piece there with Dan Feeney, Max Mitchell, Connor McDermott, and Chris Glazer actually made the roster. Good for him. They kept the fullback, Nick Bawden. And then on the defensive side, they have John Franklin Myers. Solomon Thomas is listed as a starter, who gets that over Sheldon Rankins. So the starting look is that it's going to be John Franklin Myers, former Rams, Solomon Thomas, former 49er, Quinnen Williams, Carl Lawson, Quincy Williams, C.J. Mosley, Marcel Harris gets the nod as one of the starters, Michael Carter II at nickel, DJ Reed, Sauce Gardner, LaMarcus Joyner, and Jordan Whitehead are your starters. Actually, this has to be wrong because Jason Pinnock is still on here, and he didn't make the team. So, all right, Jets. All right, Jets. I don't know what you're doing, but you got to figure it out because what the hell? Oh, no, there it is. Okay. Yeah, so all of that is as followed. Okay, everything we just talked about starting. All right, so they're keeping DJ Reed, Bryce Hall, Sauce Gardner, Justin Hardy, and Brandon Eccles, and Michael Carter II. They cut Javelin Guidry. They're keeping 4 safeties, LaMarcus Joyner, Jordan Whitehead, Ashton Davis. You Cal fans will be out there. You know who we're talking about there. Tony Adams, friend of the show, Downtown Rams. We interviewed him. Shout out to Tony Adams. The depth, Jacob Martin, Bryce Huff, Michael Clemens. You guys saw him. He is the scariest player I've ever seen. Nathan Shepard, Sheldon Rankins, Vinnie Curry, Jermaine Johnson, Jamie Sherwood, Quan Alexander, and that rounds it out. Special teams, Greg Zerline, the former Rams kicker, makes the 53-man roster, wins that kicking battle over Eddie Pinheiro, Braden Mann, and then the returners will be Berrios and split time with Elijah Moore and Zonovan Knight. Pretty solid roster. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, so comparing these two rosters, with the Rams and Jets, I think the Jets definitely, they got better. I think, what he was able to do, Joe Douglas, they're a better team than they were, and it's a good sign. You want to see them actually get better. But no, I like the way the Jets roster looks. Obviously, the Rams have the better roster, right? They just won the Super Bowl. I think, right off the rip, you look at the quarterbacks, night and day, it's the Rams over the Jets. Matthew Stafford, John Wolford, Bryce Perkins. I think that gives you one of the most established quarterback rooms in football. You talk about having 2 backups here, in my opinion, with Perkins and Wolford that you feel good about. They're the modern day quarterback. They're mobile. They can really help you out. They got decent arm strength, not the best, but not the worst. But you like that ability, the escapability there, the running ability. And then, with the Jets, you have Joe Flacco, who's filling in for Zach Wilson. He's not going to be the starter the whole year. I think Wilson is going to be a tremendous player. He might not play until like week 5, but I'm okay with that. I like their quarterback room. My only gripe is that they kept Mike White over Chris Streveler. Streveler literally, and I said it last night, had one of the best preseasons of any quarterback I've ever seen. So to have 3 straight come from behind wins, I don't know why they didn't keep him. He's also had more experience in games than Mike White. I would have picked. I would have kept Streveler. Then you look at the running backs here: Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, Kyron Williams, Jake Funk versus the Jets: Michael Carter, Breece Hall, Ty Johnson, Zonovan Knight. You know what's funny is Cam Akers by name you would think is up here, but in reality, I think when you look at these two teams, I think they kind of have a similar running back room. I think you have to give the nod, obviously, to the Rams. There's not as much experience with the Jets. You have 2 rookies. You have an undrafted rookie in Zonovan Knight, who made the roster. Shout out to him. And then you have your second-round pick in Breece Hall. Whereas the Rams, you have 2 guys that are established. Obviously Cam Akers, wish he played a little bit longer before he got hurt, but he is somewhat established. Darrell Henderson is definitely established. He's played in the league longer than Cam. Kyron Williams is a rookie 5th-round pick, and then Jake Funk is a 7th-rounder. I think the Jets have a better back end of their depth than the Rams do. Like, I would rather have Zonovan Knight and Ty Johnson than Jake Funk. So that's what I'll say there. Wide receivers here. The Rams have Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Van Jefferson, Tutu Atwell, Ben Skoranek, Brandon Powell, Lance McCutcheon. One of the best receiver groups in the entire NFL, in my opinion. OBJ will most likely end up on that team, probably halfway through the year. The hope is they'll bring Jacob Harris back on the practice squad and develop him further. But this is one of the best receiver rooms in football, without a doubt. I think they have the best duo in football at the receiver position, Cooper Kupp and Allen Robinson. Potentially the best trio with those 3 when you put in Van Jefferson. I think Tutu Atwell's in for a big year. I think people are underestimating Ben Skoranek and how NFL ready he really is. There's a reason why he made the roster over Jacob Harris. He's more polished. And even though he struggled last year, there was a reason why he was in those positions to begin with. On top of that, I think Brandon Powell is going to surprise people because I think he's actually going to be utilized a little bit in the offense. Keep in mind last year, guys, he was just basically thrown into the fire to be the return guy, right? And, over time, Brandon Powell over time, by the way, thank you, LA Rams. I just saw that you donated. I just wanted to make a mention of that. But, Brandon Powell over time, Sean McVay gets a chance after the Super Bowl to watch the film and everything. He's like, okay, Brandon Powell can help us out. I don't penalize Sean McVay for not getting Powell involved in the offense because he was basically a guy that just came in during the middle of the season, was like, hey, you're going to be our return guy. And he filled right in and helped. And now he's been he's been on this team. He went through a training camp, was working with the offense. Don't sleep on Brandon Powell on the offensive side. I mentioned it last year. I would have liked to see him utilized as a gadget guy. I think they're going to do that a little bit. Mix and match with Tutu Atwell. Skoranek is going to be like your wide receiver tight end, more built, very good blocker. And then Lance McCutcheon has a chance to be the 4th best. I think he has a chance to be better than Atwell. They didn't keep him just for, shits and gigs. Like they kept him because this guy has a chance to be really darn good. And he's in a wide receiver room with Kupp and Robinson and Jefferson, potentially OBJ. He's going to soak up all of that. And then on top of that, keep this in mind, folks. He soaks in all of that, knowledge. But on top of that, this guy is getting coached by Eric Yarber, and he's done wonders with wide receivers. So I'm a big believer in Lance McCutcheon, not just being on this roster because they like his long-term upside. I think he can help them this year. So he can play special teams. They might have all 7 active on game days. Don't be surprised if they do. Then you look at the Jets wide receiver room, and And while I don't think necessarily they're better than the Rams, I think they got some good things going for them. Elijah Moore, Garrett Wilson, those are two guys that I'm very excited about. I think Elijah Moore is going to be in for a really good year. Garrett Wilson could be a star in this league, without a doubt. I like that they kept Denzel Mims. I'm hoping he gets a real opportunity because I think he definitely has, at least in my mind, I think he definitely has the skill set to be on an NFL roster and contribute as a wide receiver. I think he could be a starter if he pans out. Corey Davis, his contract's expiring. It's it's at the end of its length. So Corey Davis, they have an opt out, I believe, at the end of the year. If Mims starts coming on, they can push him out. I'm a big fan of what Braxton Berrios has done and the way he's established himself with the Jets. This guy is great run after the catch ability, slips tackles. He's a great returner. So really like what they're doing at wide receiver there. Not better than the Rams since we're comparing, but I do like what the Jets did. Jets definitely have a much better roster than last year. Then looking at the tight ends, the Rams stuck with two. Kind of surprising. I don't remember the last time the Rams stuck with two tight ends on the roster. Like I said, I think it's more, kind of attributing the idea that Ben Skoranek could fill in there when needed because he's such a great blocker. But Higbee is a top 10 tight end. I just don't think he gets enough credit because he's not asked to do what a top 10 tight end would do. If he went to another team, like say he's in Jacksonville, that guy could get 1,000 yards, I think. Bryson Hopkins is a 4th-round pick that was my number 1 tight end in 2020. Very excited for him. He is going to take a huge role, huge step forward here. There's a reason why the Rams stuck by him. I love it. And if you're, thinking that they had some bias towards his draft status, think again because they just cut a 4th-round pick today. Maybe they did with Bobby Evans, but that's besides the point. I love their tight ends. What I will say, I think the Jets have the better tight end room because they have more tight ends, right? You have CJ Uzama, who's the blocker. Then you have Tyler Conklin, who I think is kind of a little bit close to Tyler Higbee. He's not the same, but he's a similar type of player. And then Lawrence Cager is very exciting. He's like your Jacob Harris, but I think he's more polished than Jacob Harris. And then Jeremy Ruckert, for the future, Ruckert is going to be nasty, their 3rd-round tight end. So I'll give the Jets the nod there. So far, I'll take the Rams quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, and I'll give the Jets the tight end nod. Even though Tyler Higbee's better than all of them, and I really like Hopkins, having those 4 guys, yeah. So, okay, offensive line. Joe Noteboom, David Edwards, Brian Allen, Coleman Shelton, Rob Havenstein. That's your starting 5. Then you have Alaric Jackson, Bobby Evans, and Tremaine Ankrum, okay? So, obviously, the Logan Bruss injury really put a damper on things. For the Jets, they have Dwayne Brown, Laken Tomlinson, Connor McGovern, Elijah Vera Tucker, and George Fant. I'll lean towards the Jets' offensive line. I think they have more experience. For obviously having Rob Havenstein there, he's the most experienced guy. He's really the leader of the offensive line for the Rams. But having Dwayne Brown, having George Fant, who only gave up a sack last year, and having Laken Tomlinson, who was a Pro Bowler the last time he was in a Mike LaFleur offense, I really like where they're going with that. Connor McGovern, I think, is kind of a push there with him and Allen. I think they're both good. I'll take Tomlinson over Edwards. I'll take Elijah Vera Tucker over Shelton. I'll take Havenstein over Fant, and I'll take I might take Noteboom over Dwayne Brown, but I like the Jets as a whole, that unit. But then you look at the depth, and I'll definitely take the Jets' depth. I like Herbig, Glazer, Feeney, Mitchell, and McDermott over just Alaric Jackson, Bobby Evans, and Tremaine Ankrum. So that's how I have it there. Defensive line, the Rams kept 6. A'Shawn Robinson, Aaron Donald, Greg Gaines, Marquise Copeland, Michael Hoyt, and Jonah Williams. Great defensive line. Love the depth. They have Bobby Brown, who will be coming back from a 6-game suspension, and he will be on this team. Make no mistake about it. So I really like where they are in the defensive line. You look at the Jets, their defensive line, they got Solomon Thomas, they got John Franklin Myers, Quinnen Williams, Sheldon Rankins, Nathan Shepard, Jacob Martin, Bryce Huff, Michael Clemens. Now they run more of a, if you really want to, use that terminology, they run more of a 4-3. So let's just talk about the interior. Solomon Thomas, Quinnen Williams, Nathan Shepard, Sheldon Rankins. Definitely going to give the nod to the Rams. The Rams have the better defensive line. As far as the edge, for the outside linebackers, Floyd, Hollins, Lewis, Hardy, and Keir Thomas. What I find interesting here is that, obviously I think Leonard Floyd is really good. Really like Justin Hollins. If Terrell Lewis stays healthy, we know what he can be. Daniel Hardy, really excited about him. And Keir Thomas, excited about him. With the Jets, they got Curry. They got a first-round pick in Jermaine Johnson. They got a fourth-round pick in Michael Clemens. Bryce Huff has turned into a stud UDFA. Jacob Martin is a good rotational guy. They have John Franklin Myers and Carl Lawson. I don't know, folks. I might kind of lean towards the Jets there. I like what they're doing. I'll say it's a stalemate because Daniel Hardy's hurt. Chris Garrett will probably be on this roster, but yeah, it's a tough one there. Not Jermaine Johnson. Nah, Jermaine's gone. All right, so inside linebackers. The Rams stuck with 4, Bobby Wagner, Ernest Jones, Christian Roseboom, Jake Hummel. I love this because they can keep developing Jake Hummel. I think Jake Hummel can play special teams. He broke the record for most tackles in a preseason. No one's ever hit that. By the way, he did that in 3 preseason games, I'd like to add. Because before, the record was had in 4. And now there's only 3 preseason games. So he broke the tackle record in a preseason game with 21 tackles total. Great stuff from him. Ernest Jones, I think, is going to turn into a star. Bobby Wagner might not be around forever, so it's good to have a guy like Jake Hummel that, at some point could turn into a starter. Christian Roseboom as well. Going to be probably that special teams ace, has a really good rapport with special teams coordinator Joe DeCamillis. And then you look at the Jets, and the Jets kept 5, so they kept 1 more than the Rams. They kept Quincy Williams, C.J. Mosley, Marcel Harris, Jamie Sherwood, and Quan Alexander. As much as I like Marcel Harris, I like him, converted safety linebacker. I like Quan Alexander. I like that pickup. C.J. Mosley, I'm not high on. I never have been, and I'm just not very high on. I think he's overpaid. I like Sherwood, and, I like Quincy Williams. Definitely giving the Rams the nod at linebacker. Then at corner, I'm going to give the Rams the nod here. Really, really like what the Jets did at corner. So it's not a knock on them. But anytime you put together, Jalen Ramsey, David Long Jr., Troy Hill, Robert Rochelle, Jacoby Durant, Darion Kendrick, that's one of the best cornerback rooms I've seen the Rams put together, period. It's fantastic. I love it. So very, very excited about this cornerback room. As for the Jets, they got DJ Reed, they got Sauce Gardner, Bryce Hall, Michael Carter II, Brandon Eccles, and Justin Hardy. So they did decide to go ahead and keep 6 as well. I'll take the Rams 6, but I really do like what the Jets did. First off, DJ Reed is an absolute stud. I'm very excited for him. Sauce Gardner is going to be a star in this league. We're talking Jair Alexander level. He is going to be on that level. I'm telling you right now. Kind of has some similarities to, Jalen Ramsey. So I'm big on Sauce Gardner. Then you look at safety, okay? Rams safeties, they have Taylor Rapp, Nick Scott, Jordan Fuller, Terrell Burgess, and Russ Yeast. Told you guys they weren't cutting Burgess. And then the Jets safeties, they got LaMarcus Joyner, former Ram, Jordan Whitehead, former Buccaneer, who I really like, is going to set the tone. Ashton Davis, I'm not high on. Don't know how he made the team over Jason Pinnock, but either way. And then Tony Adams. I think the Rams, I'm definitely going to take their safeties. I think there's the potential here that Jordan Whitehead would be the best safety if he went to the Rams. But aside from that, this safety room is a lot better than the Jets. So, I think looking at that, I would take the Rams safeties. And then the special teams unit, Greg Zuerlein or Matt Gay. I'm going to take Matt Gay. I think he's one of the best kickers in football now. I think Zuerlein's good. He still has it. But I'll take Matt Gay. Punter, Riley Dixon or Braden Mann. I'm going to take Riley Dixon. I think they're both kind of okay. I don't think they're great. But I'll lean Dixon there. And then Matt Orzech over Thomas Hennessy. Couldn't tell you. I don't really know long snappers that well. I've never once really evaluated them. I only interviewed one. So that's that. Returners, it's going to be Brandon Powell versus Braxton Berrios. I mean, that's basically a push. They're both great. I mean, if you have Braxton Berrios or you have Brandon Powell, you're in good hands. Those are both really good returners. So I'm a big fan of both of these teams here. Obviously, the Rams have Super Bowl aspirations here, and they want to repeat, and the Jets just want to make the playoffs. And I think looking at this Jets roster, assuming Zach Wilson gets back and he's able to play obviously a lot more than half the season, this Jets team should make the playoffs if they stay healthy. I think they have the talent. I think they have a top 10 offensive line, really good, weapons for him. I mean, you talk about Michael Carter, Breece Hall, those guys are going to be great. Ty Johnson will be utilized on third down as a pass catcher, I'd imagine. Zonovan Knight's going to be more special teams. We'll see. Having a fullback in Bawden kind of goes back to, Saleh, the days, and Mike LaFleur, the days where they had Kyle Juszczyk, obviously, in San Francisco. But offensive line's great. I like Joe Flacco as the backup, good veteran. I disagree with keeping Mike White over Chris Streveler, but I'm not going to make a huge deal about it. If Denzel Mims figures it out, man, he could be really good. Corey Davis looking for a redemption season. Berrios yards after the catch. Garrett Wilson, everything. Elijah Moore, I'm a big fan of Elijah Moore. So Jeff Smith going to be good on special teams. I think that the Jets have a really nice looking offense. I think the Rams have top-notch offense. I really do. And I think the Jets defense is going to be ferocious. I think it really is. That front, you have John Franklin Myers, Solomon Thomas, Quinnen Williams, Sheldon Rankins, Nathan Shepard, Jacob Martin, Bryce Huff, Michael Clemens, Carl Lawson, Vinnie Curry, Jermaine Johnson. Good luck. That's a lot of depth. So I like both rosters a lot. You can clearly see who is the better team. But the purpose in comparing those is showing you how far the Jets have come, because I gave the Rams the offense. I gave the Rams the quarterback, the running back, the wide receiver. I gave the Jets the tight end, so the Jets won the tight end battle. I gave the Jets the offensive line as a whole. I think individually I'll take the Rams, but as a whole, the Jets offensive line. I'll take the Rams defensive line. I'll take the Jets edge defenders. I'll take the Rams linebackers, the Rams corners, and the Rams safeties. So, in conclusion, I'll take the Jets tight ends, and I'll take their offensive line. That's not bad. That's not bad for the Jets. And their edge defenders. Not bad at all. So, I'm very excited. Football season's here, folks. Be sure to hit the thumbs up if you are excited as I am for week 1 of the NFL season, because I'm very excited. We're doing a live watch party on Thursday night, Rams-Bills. It's going to be right here. Going to be watching the whole game. Going to be talking to you guys. It's going to be a blast. So definitely don't want to miss that. Man, season's here. Today didn't tell you. Well, it's here. It is here, my friends. Big time. I don't know if they would smash them, because fully healthy, I mean, the Jets they have a pass rush. I think let's talk about from this perspective. If you're looking at the Rams, list below your your concerns with the 53-man roster, and I'll hit up all of your concerns. I'll highlight them all. Alex, just saw you donated. Appreciate you, man. Didn't want you to think I was ignoring you. Jake out here doing the Lord's work and being the first on the scene to live stream all roster cuts and roster breakdowns. So hit that like button, y'all. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Just, I told you guys we're going to be ramping it up, and I've been dying for this. So obviously, if I wasn't ready for it, what am I doing? I've been waiting so long to do this. We're almost at 14.6K for subscribers. I feel like 14K has kind of gone by pretty quickly. We got there, and now all of a sudden we're ramping things up. So, love to see that. Absolutely love to see that. All right. So, if you haven't already, once again, be sure to hit the thumbs up. Really does help out the channel. Be sure to hit the big red subscribe button if you are a Jets or Rams fan or NFL fan and like, sports content. I do a talk show every single week. I mean, I try to do it daily. It's called JE Live. We're doing it right now. And essentially, JE Live, what it does is, we talk about whatever. I'll put together 2-3 topics that I want to, really discuss, and then I answer your questions, and it's a talk show. So, that's how we do it. But, you know what? Let's shift gears a little bit. Let's break down this game. Let's break down these two games, okay? We got two games that we're going to be talking about. We got the Rams opening night game that we will be doing a live stream, during, live watch party. And right now, ESPN Matchup Predictor does have the Rams 49.9% favorites to beat the Bills. So by 0.3%, they have the Rams beating the Bills. The other percentage is the tie. Let's see. 1 second. So the Rams and Bills, looking at the injury report, okay, this is a big one here. It looks as though Tre'Davious White is going to start the season on the physically unable to perform list. And so what that means basically is that, the Bills are going to be without their top corner. So they're going to be without their top corner. What's up, SG? How's it going? Aaron, what's up? I thought I made you a mod, by the way. Well, I just changed that. You're a mod. I thought I made you it the other day, but I guess I didn't. Yeah, I'll give you that after. You mean around the league? Oh, around the league. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I got you after this little bit. All right, so looking at the Bills-Rams game, right? Going over this. So not having Trey White is gonna be a problem. Okay, thank you, by the way, Wild Man, for joining. Really appreciate you. Yeah, so not having Trey White, I think, will be a problem. But they do have talent. They do have Kyrie Elam. Elam is going to start. He's the first-round pick, that they got out of Florida. I mean, I think the Bills have a good roster. I do. They're one of the best rosters in the league. I definitely think that, they're the favorite in the AFC, in my opinion, and they got the best quarterback in football. But, YouTube's been implementing that more, so I don't know. But sorry about that. Thank you for sticking here. All right. So the way it is on the depth chart for the Bills, they have Kyrie Elam, they got Dane Jackson, they got Teron Johnson. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Corner is a spot where no Tre'Davious White to start the season. And if I'm the Rams, I'm taking advantage of that. I think Dane Jackson's okay. I don't think he's a bad corner. Kyrie Elam's a rookie. And then Teron Johnson. You have Saran Neal. You have Cam Lewis, Christian Benford. This is a cornerback room that I think could be a problem for the Bills. They're going to need, in my opinion, they're going to need Trey White back very soon. Honestly, looking at this, I'd be a little concerned. And I don't think that's being talked about enough, actually. Like, when people automatically just have the Bills being the Rams, that cornerback room is not being talked about enough. Now, don't get me wrong, they got really good safeties. Micah Hyde, Jordan Poyer, Jaquan Johnson, and Damar Hamlin. Great safeties. Really love what they did there. Linebackers, Matt Milano, Andre Smith, Balin Spector. They got Terrell Bernard. They got Tyrell Dodson. They got Tremaine Edmonds, Tyler Matakevich. I think it's a pretty solid linebacker room. I would take the Rams over it. Then you have Von Miller, AJ Epinesa, Shaq Lawson, Daquan Jones, Tim Settle, Ed Oliver, Jordan Phillips, Boogie Basham, and Greg Russo. Make no mistake about it. I think the Bills have a very good front for their defensive line. I think they're a very good team. Looking at their offense, it's going to be Isaiah McKenzie, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis, Khalil Shakir. They have Jake Kumaro, who they kept, Marquez Stevenson, and Jamison Crowder. So that'll be interesting where they go with that. I mean, here's how I see it. Stephon Diggs, obviously one of the best receivers in football. I think Gabe Davis is definitely going to be in for a very good year. I think he's going to take advantage of his postseason. Thank you so much, Wildman Samurai. I appreciate that. I think he's going to take advantage of the postseason and what he was able to do. That rapport that he has with Josh Allen, no doubt. But one thing that I find really intriguing about this team is the running back room. Because I don't know where they are with him. I don't know if James Cook is behind the 8-ball, but he is the guy. James Cook is what they did not have last year, the year before, and the year before that. James Cook is massive, in my opinion, for their success on offense. Because look at what Josh Allen did without a true running back. And I'm not even saying James Cook is really a true running back. It's just he's so explosive. They haven't had that explosion at the running back spot. Cook is going to be a problem if he figures it out. And, I mean, look at the tight ends. They cut O.J. Howard. They stuck with Knox and Sweeney, and Quentin Morris actually made it. But, Knox is somebody, Dawson Knox in the red zone, he's somebody to look out for. Their offensive line, Deion Dawkins, Roger Saffold, Mitch Morse, Ryan Bates, and David Kessenberry. They have Bobby Hart, Spencer Brown, Greg Van Roten, Ike Boatner, and Tommy Doyle. If I'm being entirely honest, and I really do like the Bills this year, I kind of feel like I like the Bills because of Josh Allen. Because I don't think this team, I don't want to say isn't close to as good as the Rams, but I mean on paper, and that's really what I'm doing. I'm looking at it on paper right now. On paper, I don't think it's that close. I think the Rams clearly have the better roster. I'm not even trying to be biased here. Like, I think the Bills are going to the Super Bowl. But I think the Rams clearly have the better roster right now on paper. I think it means the world right now, Trey White's health. If they don't have him in the Super Bowl or they don't have him in the playoffs or whatever, this team could get exposed. But he'll be back. I just think week 1, I'm going to give the nod to the Rams. I might even put it up 7-10 points instead of a 3-point game. But that's kind of my thoughts on this. By the way, they don't have a punter, so they should probably work on finding one. We all know why. But yeah, I mean, I'll give the Rams the nod for sure. We'll have a big breakdown and everything. This is a mini preview. You'll probably see a lot of these moving forward. I'll have the big breakdown, I think, on Tuesday or not Thursday. Tuesday or Wednesday, I want to say next week. We'll do the big breakdown. So yeah, I think, my thought process, I think this is going to be a 34-24 game. I think the Rams are the better team. I think they're playing at home. I think they're making false narratives about Matthew Stafford's elbow. I think they're holding out hope that they're not proven wrong yet again by Stafford and company. And I think at the end of the day, this is a Rams team you don't want to play. There's a reason why I've said if there's another dynasty like New England, it's going to be this team. I think this team at home is going to be a problem. And so I have the Rams winning 34-24. I have changed my prediction. I think the Bills are a really good team. I think they're going to probably win the AFC and be in the Super Bowl. But I think not having Tre'Davious White is massive. I think it's absolutely massive. I know he got hurt. I get it. But he's not going to play. He's on the PUP list, so he's not going to be ready to go. Sorry, guys. I don't see it. I think the Rams win 34-24. Book it. 34-24 LA. Curious what you guys think. A lot of people in here. Not a bad day. Not a bad day. Let's see here. Okay. So we move on to the Jets versus the Ravens. Now, I think the Ravens are a team to look out for the Super Bowl as well. Because the thing about the Ravens last year is they had all the talent in the world, and they got banged up to all hell. I mean, they really did. They lost their entire running back room. They lost their entire cornerback room. They were banged up. Lamar Jackson didn't even play the final portion of the year. So where are we on the Baltimore Ravens, right? Lamar Jackson, he's not going to the Dolphins no matter what people say. He's not going to the Dolphins. But Lamar Jackson, Tyler Huntley, they kept two quarterbacks. Running backs, they got J.K. Dobbins, Mike Davis, Kenyon Drake, Justice Hill. That is because Gus Edwards is on the PUP list. Also, Tyus Bowser is. Slade Bolden's on IR, Vince Beagle's on IR, Shamar Bridges is on injury list. They still have injuries, right? Not the worst, but they still have injuries. Then you look, they obviously have Patrick Ricard. Their wide receivers, Rashad Bateman, Devin Duvernay, James Proche, or Proche, however you say his name, Tylan Wallace, and DeMarcus Robinson, who really came on strong. They claimed him off of waivers, and he really came on strong in the preseason, had a 100-plus game, 4 catches, 100-plus, his last game in the preseason. So they really like him. He carved out a role. But the starters are going to be Devin Duvernay, Rashad Bateman, James Proche. Those are going to be your starters. Tylan Wallace, I'm excited for him. 4th-round pick last year. Really liked him in the draft. And then you look, Ronnie Stanley, Ben Powers, Tyler Linderbaum, Kevin Zeitler, and Morgan Moses. Looks like that's going to be your starting group there. You have Jawan James, you have Tyree Phillips, you have Patrick McCarry, Ben Cleveland, Daniel Falele, and then Tristan Colon. So they got plenty of depth on the offensive line. Really do like their offensive line. Mark Andrews, Nick Boyle, Isaiah Likely, Charlie Kohler, and Josh Oliver. A lot of depth at tight end. Okay, the Ravens have a lot of depth there at tight end. Definitely like where they're going there. Looking at this, I think the Jets can do something against this team, but their offense is good. And I think the Ravens are going to be out for blood this year. They're pissed from last year, and they should be. Then you look at the defense, right? Calais Campbell, Michael Pierce, Justin Matabuki, and then Odafe Owe. You also have David Ojabo, who Ojabo made the roster. Travis Jones, 3rd-round pick, made the roster. Broderick Washington. A lot of talent there. Defensive line. They have Patrick Queen, Malik Harrison. Josh Bynes is still, he's still with the team. Justin Houston. Really like their front. Then you have Marcus Peters. You have Kyle Fuller. You have Marlon Humphrey, Demarion Williams, Jalen Armour Davis, and Brandon Stevens. Very good looking stuff there, for this team. I really like their team, honestly. I think in some ways they're more depth filled than the Bills are. And I'll stand by that statement. Marcus Williams, Chuck Clark, Geno Stone, and Kyle Hamilton. Magic Kyle Hamilton will take over. Ajabo will be placed on IR. Yeah, he's not going to play this year. But I like that they kept him on the 53, and they drafted him. He still went in the second round, so good for him. So then you got Jordan Stout in the 4th round. Really, really good punter. Justin Tucker's maybe the best kicker in the league. I think this team's really good. I expect the Jets to lose this game. I think it's going to be close, but I think the Jets lose this one at home, and that's totally fine. I don't think it's the end of the world, plus you're not going to have Zach Wilson. Totally get it. I had the Rams beating Buffalo 34-24. I think I'll take Baltimore over the Jets 23. Nah, we'll give them more than that. 26-17. That's what I got. Man. All right. Questions, folks. Does anybody have any questions? Still got 193 people in here talking Rams and Jets. Appreciate you for sticking. I understand if you're a Rams fan, probably don't want to hear too much about the Jets, but I appreciate you being in here. Same thing. If you're a Jets fan, you don't want to hear too much about the Rams. Appreciate you being in here. But yes, drop your questions. I'm more than happy to answer. I don't think they're going to cut Skoranek, but they might sign O.J. Howard. I wouldn't rule that out. I mean, I'm not expecting it to happen, but I wouldn't be, I wouldn't be against them doing it. What'd you guys think about the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson trade? I thought that was great value. The Eagles did a really nice job grabbing him. Very good player. Loved him coming out in the draft. Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the Rams' depth at tight end, they don't really have much of it. I think it's honestly either pending, and maybe they go out and they get Kendall Blanton back on the practice squad, and then they use him on game days or whatever, or they're going to use Ben Skoranek as the third guy. But I don't know. It's a good question. But I don't love their depth because I don't think there's a lot of it. And there's really not when you think about it. So, I mean, let's be honest, there really isn't a lot. So, I agree. Yeah, Skoronek's ability to block is severely underrated. Definitely agree with that. I think if Higbee went down, they would have a plan in place. They have to know something to cut corners on the tight end room and only keep 2. You have to have something up your sleeve. I wouldn't entirely say that because when Howard comes back, they're going to have to decide. If Hummel's just they clearly are like we can't keep Howard, then they'll let Howard go. They've already cut Howard. They've already cut Howard, so absolutely, Brett. Happy to be live. I don't know about that. I really do like Lance McCutcheon, no doubt about it. But I wouldn't push him into that, that 3-hole quite yet. That's funny. Yeah. Great question. I think Darrell Henderson has a chance to, be the number 1 back in LA. I mean, I think, if Cam Akers doesn't stay healthy and he somehow does, then I think he's the more efficient back. Um, I think he's a more efficient back. You know, I think he offers more as a blocker, about the same as a receiver. I think he's a better runner, but ideal backup quarterback. I mean, I'd probably just roll with Perkins over Wolford. That's what I would say. I agree with that. I think I would never rule it out because I'm very, very high on Lance McCutcheon. I think he definitely has a role moving forward, and the Rams are very excited about him, and there's every reason to be excited about him. But I would kind of pump the brakes a little bit before we're like, Lance McCutcheon's already a top 3 wide receiver on the team. Yeah, and Aaron Donald ragdolled Josh Allen. Never forget that. Who is this year's John Franklin Myers on the Rams or in general? Because I feel like the Jets have another one in Michael Clemens. Oh my God, dude is filthy. If you're talking about the Rams, it's got to be. They just don't make them like John Franklin Myers. But if we're going with anybody, then it's probably Keir Thomas. I would probably say Keir Thomas. My God, Aaron. Freaking Michael Clemens, man. Oh, man. Michael Clemens is just horrifying. Les Snead confirms that outside linebacker Daniel Hardy will go on IR designated to return eventually. He had to be on the initial roster to do so. Keir Thomas will therefore be able to try to immediately contribute toward the 48. Keir Thomas, you heard it. Jordan Rodriguez, it sounds like Keir Thomas is going to be able to contribute right away on game days. So hats off to him, man. He worked his tail off. Good for him. Good for freaking him. I like him. You know, I like him. He didn't get a chance to take part in the combine because he was hurt, and I think that's why he was able to fall as a free agent. Yeah, that was a surprise. That was a surprise. Just a little bit. Let's see. So, I mean, there are a lot of guys here. I was surprised by the Leatherwood cut. I definitely think Leatherwood would make sense for the Rams. I like Wyatt Davis. Yeah, that's another one. I like Wyatt Davis. I really like Bo Benchwal. I don't even know if I said his name right. Former Wisconsin guy, a guard, hard-nosed player. I thought had a really good 2021 on tape. I was going back and watching his film. 2022, I didn't think he was that bad in preseason. They caught him. Washington did. Bo Benchwal, who's from the Big Ten, who's from Wisconsin, I wouldn't rule out the Rams grabbing him. And like Aaron Jones said, the Rams are 32 in waivers. Last dibs, you know, we have one spot, Hardy on 53 of our cuts don't clear, right? Well, Hardy is going to go, he doesn't have to clear waivers. He just has to stay on the roster for one day. Then he goes on IR. So theoretically, yeah, they have a roster spot wide open. I think it's going to go to Chris Garrett. But who knows? Maybe, if he doesn't clear waivers, then it won't. And if they can get him on the practice squad, then they probably won't bother either. Yeah, honestly, after looking at the roster with Trey White getting hurt, I don't know, man. Perhaps I'm a little too high on the Bills. But I think a lot of it's just Josh Allen because he just, like you said, I mean, he really is that Superman for them. Yeah, Keir Thomas blew up in that game. He made his presence felt. Just think about how important that one game was for his entire career. I mean, he made the team, and I don't know if he makes the team if not for that performance. I mean, it really, he might have, but there's no way to know. I still think they have really good depth in most areas. They struggle in others. Offensive line, I'm not overly thrilled about. I like Ankrum. I like Alaric Jackson. Felt like they should keep 9 or 10 on the offensive line. The Bobby Evans one is like having 7 offensive linemen. So, you know. Yeah, we'll see. That speed is important. Oh, boy. You could be right. Yeah, I don't know where they are in Chris Garrett. Will they bring him back? Will they just put him on the practice squad? When I say bring him back, I mean on the 53. Obviously, they'll bring him on the practice squad if they can do it. But I don't know, it's intriguing. Yeah, at the very least. I think he's solid. I don't think he's great, but I think he's okay. Riley Dixon. Reportedly, he can throw and he can run. I've never seen him do either, but I was told that he can. So he was hurt like all throughout training camp, so he only played 1 game. Allen Robinson, the floor, I'd probably say 1,100 receiving yards. I don't know. Maybe that's a little high, but I'm very high on him. Very high on him. Thank you, Carlos. I think I think they could be top 5. I think Wagner's going to be great. People that think that he's washed already, I think it's funny. Just wait, man. He's far from washed. Just watch what happens when he's not with Seattle anymore, you know? It was funny though. I appreciated the laughs. Favorite Rams wide receiver of all time. You know what's crazy is as much as I love Bruce and Holt and I absolutely love Crazy Legs Elroy Hirsch going back and knowing his history and everything. It's got to be OBJ. I've basically been a fan of his whole career almost, and I was like dreaming that he would end up being a Ram, and I even called that he was going to be a Ram, and then he went to the Rams. I was like hyped, and then he catches the touchdown, the Super Bowl. It was like his moment. Unfortunately, he had the torn ACL, but OBJ, I would say, is my all-time favorite Rams receiver. But I love Robert Woods too. I mean, I met Robert Woods. Robert Woods is one of the nicest players I've ever met, but. I like Deesh. I mean, he's a little light, but I like him. And then Obina Easy, yeah, he had some fun tape. I liked Easy a lot. I think Bo Benchwell, though, I think that connection, I'm not saying they only go after Wisconsin guys, but I don't know. Really liked Myron Cunningham's tape. Rick Leonard has already been on the Rams before. He was cut. Alex Mollett. I mean, the Rams are only going with 2 centers, essentially. So if, like, Brian Allen gets hurt, they're going to move Coleman Shelton to center. They do. Appreciate you, Stan. So, I mean, let's talk about what the Rams and Jets would avoid, right? Safety. I mean, if the Jets wanted to go after Anthony Harris or Jaquiski Tartt, they cut Jason Pinnock. I think he's one of the best safeties remaining. Tyree Gillespie and Will Parks, who they also cut. If they wanted to upgrade, I think Anthony Harris is better than LaMarcus Joyner. I think Harris is a stud. The Rams don't need safety. They're good to go. They would not go after safety. Corner, Rams are good. I think the corner to the Jets are good. The best guys I have listed here, Devontae Bosby, Channing Stribling, Quentin Meeks, Javelin Guidry, who was cut by the Jets, Parnell Motley, and Crayvon LeBlanc. Linebackers, I think both teams are good, but the best available, Joe Schobert, Kenny Young, Sean Dion Hamilton, Chaz Surratt, and Joel I something. I never figured out how to pronounce his name, and I never will. He played for the Bears. Edge defenders, I wrote down 5. Quincy Roche, Curtis Weaver, Janarius Robinson, Ali Fayyad, and Wyatt Ray. There are other guys. This is before like the big wave of cuts. Christian Covington is an interesting one. If you need defensive line depth, I really like him. Mario Edwards, Sheldon Day, Kingsley Keke, Malcolm Brown, and McTelvin Ajim. I was a little surprised to see the Broncos cut Ajim. Offensive line, Deesh. I got Kalen Beninock, Bo Benchwall, Rick Leonard, Roderick Johnson, Myron Cunningham, John Leglu, who I think every Steelers fan wanted them to keep, and Wyatt Davis. Wyatt Davis is a big name. To see him get cut, 3rd-round pick, Minnesota, I wouldn't mind any of the teams going after him. Tight end, you got Ryan Izzo, you got Dalton Keene, Chris Herndon, O.J. Howard, and Devin Asiasi was also cut too. You know? Appreciate you pointing that out, Aaron. They kept 3 because they got 2 good backup quarterbacks and one that they can really develop in Bryce Perkins. Wide receiver, like if you need a wide receiver, did you see all the wide receivers that are remaining? Pretty crazy. Preston Williams. First off, Preston Williams, I don't care what people say. This guy can flat out ball in this league. Preston Williams can ball. Like, he got cut, but he can play. Tyler Johnson got cut by Tampa. I was a little surprised by that. I was a little surprised Tampa cut Tyler Johnson. See, the Rams won't be interested because they just cut a receiver, Jacob Harris. But there are receivers out here. Laquan Treadwell, I don't think the Jets would be interested either. Daz Newsome, Albert Wilson, Lynn Bowden. If you're a fan of another team, you need a wide receiver. Those are receivers. Running backs, you know. I'm not saying you have your pick of the litter here, but they're not bad. I mean, let's go through all the quarterbacks right now. Trace McSorley got cut by the Cardinals. Anthony Brown by the Ravens. Brett Hundley. Nathan Peterman. Matt Barkley. Drew Plitt. Jake Browning. I'm not the biggest fan of Browning, but what I will say is Jake Browning played a lot better in preseason than I expected. Josh Rosen got cut. Will Grier and Cooper Rush. Cowboys apparently just didn't want to keep a backup quarterback. I kid. Here's the thing with that. Cooper Rush is already qualified for free agency. He's been in the league long enough where he's a free agent, doesn't have to go through waivers. So it's probably going to be like one of those wink-wink type of things. Cowboys will bring him back as the starter. Not the starter, the backup. Josh Johnson was cut. The guy is trying to play for every team in the league. Danny Etling was cut. Jeff Driscoll, Jake Luton, E.J. Perry, Dustin Crum, Brandon Peters, Luis Perez, obviously we knew about that, Kellen Mond, Sean Mannion, KJ Costello, Davis Webb, Carson Strong, Reed Sinnett, Chris Aludicon, and that's it. So those are all the quarterbacks. Not a ton to really go home about. Carson Strong is a little intriguing. I don't really know what the thoughts are on that, where they would go. Running backs, we'll take a gander at the running backs. Obviously, we know Sony Michel got cut. Let's see here. So Jarrett Patterson got cut. Reggie Bonifon, Jordan Wilkins, Ronnie Rivers, Master Teague, Mateo Durant. Anthony McFarland got cut by the Steelers. That's interesting. I like McFarland. Surprised. The offensive coordinator coached him. The offensive coordinator of the Steelers coached Anthony McFarland in college. I'm a little surprised by that. DeAndre Torrey, Tevin Coleman, Abram Smith, Devin Devina Zigbo. Actually interviewed him. He got claimed by the Broncos. Kevin Harris, J.J. Taylor, Bryant Kobeck, A.J. Rose, obviously by the Rams, Raymond Calais as well, and so Trey Regis. Kevin Marks, Letty Brown, Kenyon Drake, Tayon Fleet Davis, Matt Colburn, Nathan Cottrell, Tyson Williams, Devontae Price. Love Price, as you guys know. I had him in mock to the Rams. Philip Lindsay, I also like. C.J. Verdell, B.J. Emmons, Marlon Mack. In case Aaron Jones wasn't aware of what was going on, I was going through all the guys that got cut because he had asked me earlier if I could go through the surprising ones. And I can't really think of all the surprising ones off the top of my head, so now I'm just going to read them. And when I read them and I'm surprised, I guess those are the surprising ones. Marlon Mack was a surprise. Look, I understand the Dameon Pierce love is out of this world. But I was a little surprised to see Marlon Mack get cut outright from the Texans. Sorry, but that came as a little bit of a shock to me. Tyler Goodson, B.J. Baylor, Max Borghi, Stevie Scott III. I like him. Azigbo was cut by the Broncos. Okay. John Kelly was cut by the Browns, former Ram. Shamari Jones. DeMontre Tuggle. Darrington Evans got cut by the Bears. That's surprising. Spencer Brown. John Lovett. Darius Bradwell. Raheem Blackshear. I think Raheem Blackshear was a basketball player. Duke Johnson, Corey Clement, Nate McCrary, Tyler Beatty got cut. Wow. Tyler Beatty got cut. That's kind of a big name. I guess that's what happens when you get Kenyon Drake, but all right. Quadri Olison is a guy that I definitely think that you should keep an eye on for Atlanta. Caleb Huntley, Ronnie Rivers, TJ Pledger. Okay. Wide receivers. I mentioned some of them earlier. Let's see. Wide receiver. Got Marcel Aitman, Andre Baselia, Cameron Batson, Keyshawn Johnson, Frank Darby, Stanley Berryhill, Auden Tate, Geronimo Allison, Tyshawn James, Makai Polk, Ben Victor, Rally Webb, Devin Williams, Bailey Gaither, Slade Bolden, Jalen Moore, Shamar Bridges, Tanner Gentry, Isaiah Hodgins, Neil Pau'u, Tavon Austin, Brandon Zylstra, C.J. Saunders, Rayshon Henry, Keith Kirkwood, Charleston Rambo, Derek Wright, Terry Godwin, let's see. Chris Finke, Simba Webster, Isaiah Coulter, Kevin Shaw, Daz Newsome, Javon Healy, Jack Sorensen, Puka Williams Jr., Aesop Winston, Mike Harley, Dalen Baldwin, Jamarcus Bradley, Javon Wims, Derek Dillon, Travell Harris. All right, I'm not going to list all these guys. There's a lot of guys. Darius Shepard. I'll list the notable ones. Thank you. There are... Isaiah Ford's a pretty big name. Laquan Treadwell was cut. Marvin Hall got cut. Kevin Austin. I liked him out of Notre Dame. Josh Gordon got cut. Not really a shock. But Preston Williams was a little bit of a shock. So was Lynn Bowden. Mohamed Sanu got cut. Tristan Jackson got cut from the Vikings. Albert Wilson got cut. Really like him. Yeah, I think guys that stand out to me, I really want to get Jason Poe in a Rams uniform. And I definitely want to get Leatherwood. Let's do a poll. Let's see here. Would you claim Alex Leatherwood? Curious where this one goes. Exactly. Leatherwood's only 23 years old. $90-10 for yes so far. 10 votes. 10 votes here. 82-18. Yeah, I don't know. I like Leatherwood. I understand. Let's be honest here. Some of his tape in the preseason this year wasn't the best, but I don't know, man. You just don't see first-round offensive linemen. I don't know. And I think the Rams can coach him up, exactly. Clearly better than Evans. I wouldn't say he's injury prone, but I am a little confused why they did that. Exactly. He's about $3 million against the cap. I mean, he's a former first-round pick in 2021. And he's coming from the Raiders. Like, sure, not a great track record for, players figuring it out, right? But I mean, he's coming from the Raiders. I don't know. I'd take it too. Looks like it's 74 to 20, 75 to 25 here with 32 votes. Let me see here. Where the hell? Yeah, let me trying to look up the original draft orders. That'll get me. Let's see. Okay. Original draft order. The Jaguars have the first waiver claim. Okay. Detroit has number 2. So it's Jaguars, Lions, Texans, Jets are 4. You are right. What's up, Ashton? Oh, I totally agree. I totally agree. They have an open spot because they're gonna put him on the roster. Or they're gonna put him on IR. You know? They're gonna that's the thing, is they're gonna move Daniel Hardy, they're gonna move him to IR. To designate a return. So, you know, that's kind of the big thing there. Oh, thank you. So that's the big thing, is that they're gonna move Daniel Hardy to the IR, which will then open up a roster spot. That water's ice cold. So much better than this lukewarm temperature water. Don't get me wrong, love this bottle, but it doesn't have like ice cold water in it. That was refreshing. Let's see. I mean, I think the Rams might be interested in a couple of pass rushers that got cut. First off, Quincy Roche. You look at his PFF grades. I mean, they show you, but the film shows you that this guy should be on a 53. He's already had experience playing for the Steelers and playing for the Giants. I would go out and get Roche if I needed a pass rusher. They could be interested in that. Offensive line, way too many guys out there not to kick tires. Like I said, Bo Benchwell, Bradley and I. Yeah, he had a really good preseason with the Jets. He had a fun play where he strip sacked the quarterback, then picked up the ball and ran it back for a touchdown. I give it 85%. Fun fact, on the eve of the draft that Kamoko Torre was drafted in, he came on my show and we did a live stream. I couldn't tell you, Noah, because I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't know how he made it. He did. Look, I don't have an issue with him personally, but you start cutting guys like Jacob Harris and Garrett, and you're like, well, then why is Evans making the team? Yeah, I mean, Funk makes more sense to keep on the roster than Bobby Evans, but Jets fourth. Yeah, Jets are fourth. There you go. I really like Jake Hummel. I've said it on here many times. I'm a fan of his game. I think he's the best Jake on the Rams right now. I'm just kidding. I don't care what people say. I do think he's the best Jake on the Rams right now. I think he has a high floor. I think that's really what it comes down to. I think he's got a high floor. So, you know. Man, I don't know. I guess we're in the multiverse. I guess. I don't know. Pretty nuts though. Pretty nuts. The Vikings will only surprise people if they're not listening to my channel. The Vikings are going to surprise people. I think the Jets will too. Yeah, not ideal. Although I really like Josh Jacobs, but I hear you there. Yeah, not ideal. They got the graphic already for the guys on the team. Two tight ends is just I don't know, it's something I haven't gotten used to. Bobby Evans. Two tight ends and Bobby Evans. I don't know. Yeah, Curtis Weaver's another one. I don't think they'll switch him to tight end, but I think they might utilize him more at tight end because he can block. I don't think he will, but who knows? I give it 85% chance OBJ is a Ram again. I feel that. I appreciate you sticking with me. I love it. I hope Baker destroys them week 1. You got to be rooting for Baker, right? I've given the guy some crap. I've criticized him, but the Browns, they deserve to be criticized. That organization, man. Oh, almost forgot. I did switch my pick from Benton Whitley to Keir Thomas. But I did stick by Cologne. So, let's see what I did with the Rams 53. Let's see how many we got right. Stafford, Wolford, Perkins, 3 for 3. Akers, Hendo, Kyron Funk, 7 for 7. Cup, A-Rob, Van, Tutu, Powell, Scope, McCutcheon, Harris. Oh, no. So, what is that? I mean, I got 14 out of 15. I got 14 right so far. Okay. Higbee and Bryson. So I got 16 right. Noteboom, Edwards, Allen, Shelton, Havenstein, Jackson, Cologne, Ankrum, are Curry. So I got 16 right, and then offensive line 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So I got 23. 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. So that's all the defensive line, 29. Floyd, Hollins. So, okay, so 30, 31, 32. And then I had Keir Thomas and Garrett. So that's 33 because I missed out on Garrett. Wagner, Jones, and Roseboom. That's 36. I left off Jake Hummel because I didn't think that they would bring him on to the 53. I'm glad they did. Got the 6 right, so that's 42. I got 4 out of the 5, so that would be 46. So I got 49 out of 53, correct, on the 53-man roster. 49 out of 53. The only ones I got wrong, Jacob Harris, Chris Garrett, not having Jeremiah Cologne, and having R. Curry. That's it. I didn't have Russ Yeast. I didn't have Jake Hummel. Although I'm glad Hummel made it, I just didn't think they'd keep him. Just because I thought they'd only keep 3. So I'm glad they did. But yeah. Self-scouting, man, it's everything. You know? Gotta admit when you're wrong. Gotta show as much love to your losses as you do to your wins. Keep it real. Yeah, I actually saw a lot of that, believe it or not. Yeah, I mean, if 2018 Jared Goff comes back, the Lions will be very good. That's kind of the vibe I'm feeling right now. I think it's the Vikings, but I think the Eagles are a lot better. They got a lot better today, going out and getting Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I really like that move for them. They're not going to do that because Van Jefferson is probably going to be ready to go for week 1. By him not being on any sort of list, that kind of tells you that Van Jefferson's going to be ready to go for week 1. At the very least, week 2. But he'll be back. I think so. I think the big problem with Cousins is he hasn't had the defense that, we thought he was going to have because Mike Zimmer was a defensive coach. It's all overblown. All overblown. So I will take this time to remind everyone that I have a Rams only. This NFL, all right, I gotta tell you this right now. I got this NFL update, and it has Lance McCutcheon has made the 53-man roster, while defensive end TJ Carter has not. Who thought TJ Carter was gonna make the roster? The dude was on the team for a cup of coffee. I don't know, man. That's funny though. That is funny. Yeah, I like him. I do like him. The NFL app, like TJ Carter, the defensive end, not even the defensive back. TJ Carter, the defensive end, was barely on the team. It doesn't mean that they won't bring him back, but like, bro was literally on the team for like a cup of coffee. So once again, I'm just going to remind you guys, I have a Rams podcast that I bring guests on all the time. It is weekly. I also have an MCU one. We'll be doing it tomorrow. Be sure to check out. It is called Rams Edge. The call-in link is below. So be sure to join that. Not Tinder. No, it's Twitter. See? Yeah, Twitter. I use the orange Twitter logo. I just like it more. I don't know. Looks like it should be orange. I forget it is blue, honestly. Big time. Of course they did. That's funny. Yeah, I got 150 people in here. Orange Twitter logo. Yep. I got 150 people in here. If we could get some people subscribing to this podcast, would really help me out. You just hit that link and you join and you subscribe for call-in. It's a new app. It's like Twitter Spaces. But for any, like, people, I get DMs all the time, like, hey, can I come on your show? And I'm like, well, you can come on this show. Anyone can come on this show. Anyone can voice their opinion, give me their thoughts. Might go live later tonight on this. So if you want more content, right here. My God. I would rather work for Sims. Oh, Florio and Sims. I'd pick Florio and Sims. I can make that work. I would never work for NFL Rums. God, you need Rum just looking at them, man. Oh boy. Well, folks, I think that's going to do it. I think it's been an absolute success. Almost 2 hours. Appreciate you guys being here. Happy to, break down the Rams and Jets 53-man roster. We are almost a week away from the Rams-Bills kickoff, and I could not be more excited. But I'm Jake Ellenbogen. So until next time, be sure to give the thumbs up on your way out, and be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And you can check me out on the Call-In app. You can follow me on Twitter at JKBogan. And as always, I will be back here very soon to pump out more content. Plenty of stuff to still cover and everything, but that's going to do it for me on this JE Live. So appreciate you guys tuning in, whether you're a Rams fan, a Jets fan, whatever fan. You asked any sort of questions. Always appreciated. I am out. Later, folks. Enjoy the rest of your night.